But for today, what I want to do is, because I've gotten a lot of questions on this this week specifically, I want to go over a little bit of a session on the levels. Okay, I couldn't get it out. A lot of people have been asking about levels this week. And, I told you guys before that I don't want you stressing over the levels and kind of focusing on the levels, until you get the patterns down, because pattern recognition obviously is the most important thing. But it is important to know the levels and also have, your bias on your H1 to know which direction you want to trade. So it's still important to know. It's just not as important as, the pattern and the timing and, the different confluences and things like that line up with it. Okay. So what I thought I'd do today is I want to show you guys how I draw my boxes and how I do this on the charts every week for you guys on the weeklies. And I'll just take a random pair like USD CAD is already open, and I'll just put the chart on here. And so like if you were trying to do this on like a blank chart, like starting from scratch, like how would you draw the boxes on here and figure out the levels? Like what would you do? So I'm going to do this for you guys today, and so you guys can figure out how to do it on your own charts, and then maybe you guys can have a better idea of your levels and the bias. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you want to do, the first step that you want to do is you want to find your peak formation highs and lows. Okay, so what you do is you go back 3 to 5 days on the chart, okay, and you find your peak high or you find your peak low, and then you draw your boxes from there. Okay, on UCAD you can see here we had our peak low for this week here, okay, and then going back 3 to 5 days you have a peak high up here, and then back 3 to 5 days you go your peak low over here. Okay, so for example purposes I'm just going to go from here, okay, back over to here, and then I'm going to draw the level boxes for you and show you how to do that. Okay, so when I look for levels, what I do is I'm on the H1 chart, okay, first of all, and then I'm looking for consolidation areas, okay, and then breaks of the structure of that consolidation into the next level. Okay, I also use the ADR, which is very important. Okay, ADR for USD CAD is 87, and I also use the EMA crosses to figure out, my levels. Okay, so with EMA crosses, 1350 cross usually denotes level 1. Okay, 5200 cross denotes level 2, and then the 5800 or the 200-800 cross usually is where you're into level 3. Okay, and then ADR, one ADR move is usually one level, so 3 times ADR move will give you 3 times level 3 condition. Okay, so putting all those together, it's not just one or the other, it's putting all of those together that gives me the structure and gives me a picture of what the levels are. Okay, so first things first is you identify the peak low. Okay, so you can see here, if you look on the H1 chart, these gray boxes, okay, these are all the Asian session boxes on your M15. So this represents one day. Okay, so you can count the days that way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so those represent one day. So you go back 3 to 5 days, you find the peak formation, and then you start from there. So we're going to start with this peak low right here, and you can see the consolidation, right? This is the consolidation, right? It's just bouncing from this range. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take my box and I'll mark it. Okay, I'll mark the consolidation. All right, and then if you look at the move, like this is where it dropped, right, from here down to here. You can see this is about 90 pips or so, and that's about 1 ADR. Okay, so this was a drop into level 3. This is where it kind of consolidated. Okay, and then you can see the next time that it breaks, I'll even draw it up to this wick here, right? The next time that it breaks this high structure right here, and where this breaks this structure here, is right here, okay, in this big shift candle. All right, and you'll notice this is also where the 1350 has crossed. Okay, so that gives me my first clue that this is my level 1 rise. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take my box and I'll move it up, from right here where below the shift candle happened, right? The move happened right here. Okay, and I'll move it up to the level where it consolidates. Okay, this consolidation level here. All right, and if you look closely now, if I draw this from here to here, it's about 89 pips, right? One level ADR move, and our ADR is 87. Okay, so it's kind of freaky how it works out that way, but it's not always going to work out that way, right? Because sometimes the ADR is a little bit lower, sometimes the ADR is a little bit higher. It's not always going to be an exact, ADR times 3, because the pair changes, the pips changes, the range changes. So it's as long as it's an approximation, then that's all you really need. Okay, so this is your level 3. Okay, this is the next consolidation. Now you can see there's more consolidations here. It's kind of consolidations close to each other. So what I do is actually I'll kind of group certain ones close together. So like if you see this is kind of like 20 pips away. So I'll just group this consolidation together with this level. And then the next shift candle up, you can see this big shift up into this consolidation here. I'll just take this and I'll group it all together. Okay. This is where the next point where it breaks this structure. You can see this is where the bottom of this structure hits the top of this structure here. The bottom here hits the top of this here. So that when that breaks, that's where I'm into my level 2. Okay. So I'll just mark all of this off right about here where it ends in this consolidation here. That's where my level 2 is. So now if you look at this, if you measure, okay, from this pin to this pin, let's say about 70 pips, or like from here to here, right, 90 pips, it's still about 180R. Right, kind of still close to where our 180 are. So that's our level 2 move, and you can also see that our 5200 has also crossed. Okay, so that confirms that we're in level 2. Okay, now the next consolidation is up here. Okay, so I'll move my box. Okay, I'll draw the consolidation, the box around the consolidation. Okay, and then I'll just adjust my box to kind of fit together with the other ones. Okay, so now this move from here to this pin here is about 90 or so pips. So again, about 180R range, right? It doesn't always work out that way, like I said, but if you measure from the top to bottom, like from the bottom here to the top here, we're way past the 3 times ADR, right? We got 320 pips to the top here, and the 3 times ADR is 261. So we're extended level 3 here, okay, but you can see here we also have the 50-200 cross and the 200-800 cross to give us our level 3 condition. So we know that this is level 3. Now we're in level 3. Okay? Now we're in our level 3 peak, okay, and then now you can see this big drop from here, about 87 pips. Okay, so that is a level 1 drop, and you can see the 1350 has crossed right here. So what I'll do is I'll mark this whole area, this consolidation area right here, and you can see it came back, it pulled back up here, but it didn't break this high. Okay, so it stayed up in this area. So this pulled back into the level 3 area, but it stayed below this structure. So that is still part of the level 1 drop, okay, to me. All right, and then right here is the where the bottom structure here is kind of where it hits right here. Then it shifts below. This is the next area. It breaks this structure right here. So we can take our box and move it down to the next consolidation. And you can see this consolidation is a little bit smaller, right? And that's what I said. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit less, right? So from here to here, this move, 60, 70 pips, right? Not quite our 87 ADR, right? So it didn't quite get there. But that's the next consolidation down. This is the big shift down. 5200 is crossed, okay? So you can know that you're in level 2 at this point, okay? And then the next consolidation is over here. Okay, so we're just going to box this consolidation off. And you can see it's up here. Part of it is up here. It's kind of poking up above and still holding this below where it breaks this structure. So it hits this bottom and then it shifts through. Okay, that's the next time it breaks this structure. That's how I know I'm into level 3, once it shifts through below this bottom structure. And you can see it's holding this bottom. It's holding now this. It's coming up to this top and kind of hitting right where that structure is. Okay, so now we're in level 3 condition. Okay, and now we have a move up and we have our 1350 cross to the upside. So that's how I know that we could be heading now into a level 1 rise, because what we can see is that we want to stop on drop and then a rise up. Okay, and then we'll see the EMAs start to move up into our level 2. All right, so it's very, very simple, right? When I do it that way, hopefully, when you guys see that. So what I'll do is, that's the way I mark my boxes. That's how I figure out my levels. And then you're going to put your text, obviously, down here. You're going to mark these off. So I'll mark this, I'll mark my peak low. Okay, and then if you hold on the Mac, it's Control, and then your left mouse, you can do a copy. All right, on the PC, it's Control. If you hold Control and then you click left mouse and drag it, you can just make a copy. All right, same thing with the boxes. It makes it easier. So once I do this, these aren't obviously all peak lows. I'm going to change these. Okay, so this is our level 1. Okay, this is our level 2. Okay, and then this is our level 3. All right, and then on the way down, same thing. I should have just kept these. So what you can do is just copy, like I said, click, command, control, drop, control, drag, rather. And you can just drag these over. Okay, level 1, level 2, level 3, and now we're looking for a level 1 rise to the upside. Okay, so that's how you do it, guys. Okay, very simple. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Otherwise, you guys can try it for yourselves. All right. Sometimes you're not going to get, this a cycle like this because this cycle was so clean. Like sometimes if you look at a pair like EU or something that's ranging, okay, something that's going to give you shorter cycles, you might not be able to get it so cleanly. So look for, if you're practicing this for the first time, please look for a pair that is like gives you a nice pattern like this. Okay, don't try to don't frustrate yourself and go for a pair that's ranging like 100 pips like sideways. Then you're gonna go crazy trying to figure out what the levels are. Okay, because the market maker pattern, when there's manipulation in the pair, that's when you see it, like the pattern is very clear. Okay, sometimes when the pair is ranging sideways, then you know that market makers probably aren't really in their get their hands in that pair, and you don't really have a clear cycle. So don't try to draw your levels on a if you're just starting out with this on something that isn't clear. Try doing it on something easier where you can see the pattern and go back. You can go back in the charts and look for nice patterns to practice this on. Okay. So that's how you do it, guys, and that's how I do it all my levels during the Sunday webinars. So when you guys see me do it next time, you'll have a little better idea, better understanding of what I'm looking at when I'm doing the levels. All right, hope that helps, guys, and that will do it for this webinar. Like I said, if you have any questions on this, please message me. Otherwise, have a great evening, and I'll see you guys on the next webinar.